I need to share this because I can't get it out of my head. Last weekend, I decided to explore a remote part of the Arizona desert. I love finding old, abandoned places, and I heard rumors about a ghost town that wasn't on any map. After hours of driving and hiking, I finally found it. The place was eerily quiet, with dilapidated buildings and sand creeping into every crevice. The sun was setting, casting long shadows that made everything look even more sinister. I started exploring, taking pictures and trying to imagine what life was like here. That's when I saw a large, cracked mirror leaning against the wall of what used to be a saloon. It was covered in dust, but something about it drew me in. I wiped it clean and looked into it, and that's when things got weird. At first, I saw my reflection, but then it changed. I saw ghostly figures moving behind me. They were dressed in old-fashioned clothes, and their faces were twisted in expressions of terror. I spun around, but there was no one there. When I looked back at the mirror, the figures were closer, reaching out as if trying to escape. I felt a cold breeze, even though the air was still. My heart was pounding, and I knew I had to get out of there. I grabbed my stuff and ran back to my car, not daring to look back. As I drove away, glanced in the rearview mirror and saw the town fading into the distance. But the figures from the mirror were still there, watching me. Turns out, the town was once a bustling mining settlement in the late 1800s. It thrived for a few years until a series of mysterious disappearances and deaths led to its abandonment. The mirror, according to local legends, belonged to the town's only saloon. The saloon owner, a woman named Eliza, was known for her beauty and charm. She had the mirror imported from Europe, and it was said to be enchanted. Eliza disappeared one night, and the townsfolk believed she was taken by the spirits of those who had died mysteriously. After her disappearance, anyone who looked into the mirror claimed to see the faces of the lost souls, including Eliza's. It seems that those who looked into the mirror didn't just see the ghostly figures, they were marked by them. The first recorded incident involved a miner named Thomas. After looking into the mirror, he became obsessed with it, claiming he could hear whispers and see shadows moving in the corners of his vision. He was found dead a week later, his face twisted in the same expression of terror I saw in the mirror. Another story involves a young woman named Mary, who was visiting the town with her family. She looked into the mirror out of curiosity and started having vivid nightmares about being trapped in the saloon with the ghostly figures. She fell ill shortly after and passed away within a month. Her family swore they saw ghostly figures around her bed in her final days. The most disturbing account is of a group of treasure hunters who found the mirror years after the town was abandoned. They were a group of 5, all seasoned explorers with a knack for finding hidden treasures. When they stumbled upon the mirror, they thought it might lead them to a fortune. They each took turns looking into it, hoping to see a map or some kind of clue. Instead, they saw the same ghostly figures I did, but they didn't tell each other at first. They were too proud, too confident in their abilities. Over the next few days, they started experiencing strange phenomena. One of them, Jake, began hearing whispers at night, voices calling his name. He thought it was just the wind, but the whispers grew louder and more insistent. Another, Sarah, started seeing shadows moving in her peripheral vision. She became paranoid, convinced that someone or something was following her. The others tried to reassure her, but they were all dealing with their own fears. Mark, the leader, began having vivid nightmares about being trapped in the saloon with the ghostly figures. He woke up screaming every night, drenched in sweat. The group decided to leave the town, but it was too late. One by one, they started disappearing. Jake was the first to go. He wandered off into the desert one night, following the whispers, and was never seen again. Sarah was found dead in her tent, her face twisted in terror. Mark and the remaining 2 tried to stick together, but the paranoia and fear drove them apart. In the end, only one of them, Alex, made it out alive. He was found wandering the desert, delirious and dehydrated. He couldn't remember what had happened, but he kept muttering about the mirror and the faces. He was taken to a hospital, but he never recovered. He died a few days later, his last words a warning about the cursed mirror. I'm starting to think that the mirror is more than just a cursed object, it's a portal or a trap for lost souls. The more I learn, the more I feel like I'm being watched. I haven't been able to sleep since. Every time I close my eyes, I see those faces. I don't know what I stumbled upon, but I wish I had never gone there.